Hello and welcome to another edition of Tweed Talk. As you may have noticed, my wife is not here. She's working tonight. She's actually um, at a play right now that she's going to be on next week. But that will not stop us tonight because we have a very important and very fun show. These two young men I know since they were very little. As a matter of fact, I said that I know them since before they were born. Before they were born, before Sean was born, the oldest one, I remember telling his father a joke. I actually said, I'm going to teach you an exercise that you're going to need for the next few years. And what I did is I went like this, and I said, now, bend your knees like this, and then I want you to work forward like that. And he said, what is that for? I said, that's what you're going to be doing for the next couple of years when you have the baby. So I don't think he got the joke right away, but that's what I was saying. So now I could say that I trained the dad as well as the mom. I didn't really train the mom. But what we're going to be talking about is inspiration, you know, how they got to where they got now and how I thought that it was going to be different when they were little. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture first. This is them when they were little, Brian and Sean. And I really couldn't tell the difference. Hanging on the bars, just hanging out. They used to hang out at the gym a lot. Now, they are the product of a super athlete. Betsy Johnson was known for her soccer, but Betsy Johnson Conaty is an amazing athlete. She played for North Carolina. And the father is a lawyer, a brilliant lawyer. And when they were little, I thought that Sean was going to be the lawyer and Brian was going to be the athlete. It turned out that they did both of those things. You know, they did both. But I'm going to tell you why I thought that it was going to go different is because when Brian was very little, he was like, when Sean was very little, he was 110% on the way that he dressed. So he used to wear a three-piece suit when he was like 10 years old. And, you know, carry a briefcase. And I thought that that was the most interesting thing. And I said, oh, he's going to be a lawyer. And Brian was the athlete. As a matter of fact, he competed for Monticello Gymnastics. And I said, yeah, he's going to be the athlete. But this is Sean when he was little, balancing on my hand. When I bring him on, I'm going to ask a couple of times. When I bring them up, I'm going to ask them a couple of things and see if they remember back then. So without further ado, I'm going to bring both of them on. Hello.
What's going on, Pete?
How you doing, Pete?
Welcome to Tweed Talk.
Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. So one of the things that your mom and I used to say was when you were little, Sean used to be bigger than you. And he used to rough you up a little bit. And your mom always used to say, you know, he's going to grow up one day. And sure enough, you got big. And for a while, you were bigger than him, right?
I was.
For a long, he probably still is bigger than me, to be honest. I don't think I've been bigger than Brian since I was like 4 years old.
Really? Did you ever get back at him, Brian?
Oh, definitely.
Sorry. I bring you up. I hit that by mistake. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, in my own ways, I did. We had a good relationship of back and forth. He got the better part of me in the beginning years, and then after that, I had my way with him, and then we reconciled, and now we developed a great relationship, and we went forward.
Now, I said I wanted to talk about influence. Um, how do your parents influence you?
Sean?
I mean, we were blessed. We had the best parents in the world, both my mom and my dad. Just learned everything from them. Hard work, learned what love is, learned the importance of family, learned the importance of community.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, my mom being an athlete, I was just blessed where obviously Brian and I both were really big into sports. And so my mom was always there with us after school every day. I mean, you probably remember the story.
Yes.
I'm skateboarding down the hill and I wiped out, and everyone's asking me, well, where was your mother at? Why are you skateboarding down that steep hill? And I was like, well, my mom went right by me on her skateboard. She was doing all the same things with us. So no, we were really blessed in that regard.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Okay. So when I know that when you were little, like I said before, I used to think that Sean was going to be the lawyer, and then you were going to be the athlete. And do you remember when you were little? I don't know if you remember it, Sean, but one time we took you to the gym, and Brian was there practicing gymnastics, and we wanted you to do a front somersault onto a mat. I don't know if you're going to remember this, but your leg was so powerful, you ended up clearing the whole mat and said, I'm done with gymnastics.
It sounds familiar. I just, if my memory serves me correct, I just would imagine Brian would be doing it much better than me. Gymnastics, a lot of things. Brian did a lot better than me, and that's why he went on to be the gymnast for you. So that's what I remember.
And how did it change for you, Brian, when you start to think about law?
Everything sort of changed in terms of the way I thought. Obviously, I kept up with all the athletes and the athletics. I still stayed in the gym and all of that, but then I spent a majority of my time in the library and reading instead. It really changed my mindset in a good way, and made me think about where I am and where I want to go and what I want to do. And so instead of always being in the gym, I split my time between the gym and the library, and it was a good transition.
I said before that Sean used to be 110%. I remember your mother bringing you because you wanted to jump higher, and I started training you. And within, I think it was a couple of weeks, I was trying to train you to touch the ceiling, and you were very young, and I said, yeah, well, we'll do the exercise. We started doing the exercise for it. I think it took you about 2 weeks before you were jumping so high that you were close to touching the ceiling. I said, Betsy, you got to come and see this.
Yeah.
And you were, I said, what, 2 weeks? It usually take athletes a lot longer than that. But
I remember there was you tied a string hanging from the ceiling, and then before long, it wasn't touching the string. I was actually smacking the ceiling. But yeah, that was, I got to give you all the credit in the world. And there's been different articles written about me, and I speak on this, and about you and that. But you taught me how to lift weights, and so it's just incredible the career I've gone on to and what I'm doing now. But I got to give you all the credit. You taught me how to lift weights, and obviously I was an athlete. Basketball was my first love. I was much better at soccer than basketball, but I was a late bloomer. I was a short, skinny kid, and I was looking for that, competitive edge, to be able to play basketball, with my peers. And so every day after school, I came to you and I wanted to learn how to lift weights. I wanted to improve my vertical jump. I wanted to train. And, and that was my childhood, and I fell in love with it.
Right. I couldn't believe how quickly you did that. And, thanks. I actually read the article when you gave me credit on the newspaper. And then I had Brian, after he stopped gymnastics, Brian, you came and you wanted to do MMA.
Yep.
And your mom told me, well, if he's going to do it, you better go and train with Pete.
That's right. She sent me to you right away, and you were her great instructor. You taught me a lot. Did very well.
You know what was interesting about that? she told me that she was afraid of you doing that. But I gotta tell you, I was afraid of you going on there. And I'm gonna tell you why. Remember, I used to have you kick the bag?
Yes.
You kicked the bag so hard that I thought that if you went at the MMA, you were gonna kill somebody. I just told that to someone. I said, "Oh no, he got really good when he was kicking so hard." And you know that everybody, when I spar, you block with your hands. But with you, I don't know if you noticed, but I used to block with my feet.
Yep.
Because I didn't want you to kick me.
Yep.
That's how strong that kick was. So you were an athlete, and also you went and became a lawyer. So when did that turn for you?
That turned for me when I was in West Virginia. I sat down one day and I really wanted to analyze where I was and what I wanted to do. And what I came to the conclusion of was I wanted to be a trial attorney. And I wanted to be like my father. I wanted to be someone that was in the courtroom all the time and was, persuading jurors and compelling judges and on the front lines of really litigation and policy. And I realized that was where my heart was. So at that time, when I was still in my undergrad, I decided to start focusing further on my studies, more towards the law and the policy side, and try to go to law school and follow in my father's footsteps.
Awesome. And Sean, I saw you training people, and I was so proud because you guys are like my kids. Like I felt like I was raising you when you were little kids. Like coming to the gym.
Yep.
I felt like I was a second father to you guys. But I saw you training people, and I have a video of it. I'm gonna play. And I was so proud. Such a pride came through me. Say, wow, look what he became. Both for you, I'm so proud. Like when I see you, like Brian, now you're running, you're running for DA, right?
Yep. So right now I'm the acting district attorney of Sullivan County. I was appointed the chief assistant district attorney by my predecessor and another one of my mentors, Megan Galligan. And by her ascension to the bench, by law, I had to fill the void of the district attorney of Sullivan County. And I love being a prosecutor because it allows me to be that trial attorney I've always wanted to be. And allows me to help people in a direct way and better their lives and vindicate the rights of victims and really, put bad people away. So I love what I do. And I made the decision to actually campaign to be the duly elected district attorney. And that's the endeavor I'm embarking on now.
I saw the love between, like I was showing some photos of you two, and I saw the love. You cannot hide that. It is something that you can't fake. So I saw, Sean, you how proud you were, and you actually put on Facebook about how proud you were of your brother. So all those wrestling and things that went on went away. Now, Sean, I'm gonna play the video of you training. I hope I could start it from the beginning.
Awesome. Man, haven't seen that video in a while. That's awesome. That was when I was at Eastern Michigan. I love those kids. I love that team. But it's a good look into off-season basketball strength conditioning, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's a good glimpse into the day-to-day life I'm still living. So, love my job.
Where are you now?
Now I'm at the University of Missouri. So I'm director of athletic performance for University of Missouri men's basketball. So my role, I'm considered a basketball coach on staff, but instead of being a recruiter or in charge of offense or defense, I'm in charge of everything physical development and physical preparation. So I'm the head strength and conditioning coach. So I'm working daily with the athletes in the weight room. I'm in charge of nutrition, sports science, analytics. But my whole role is looking at athlete readiness, preparedness, and just making sure they're bigger, faster, stronger, improve their body composition, and make sure they're at their best when their best is needed, and prepared for the demands of the sport and the long season.
People don't know how important that is. Sometimes, like even in gymnastics, people want to do the skills.
Yes,
they don't want to prepare for it, and that's actually a very important thing.
For durability, I think even in just my own life, I've had 5 knee surgeries. And so even through all the training that you and I did, I got so specific when I was in late middle school, early high school with soccer, playing year round. And when you get so tied up in the technical, tactical aspect of sports and you start to neglect some of that physical aspects and your body's not prepared to withstand the training load, the demands that you're placed upon it, that's when your body breaks down. And so, I saw that firsthand in my own life. And now that's kind of what I educate and empower the next generation on.
Wow. That's why I saw one of your talks, one of your presentation, and you speaking from experience, because some people talk, they talk from a book, but you talking from experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I saw Brian. I saw you speaking for the kids.
Oh, yep. I've had the opportunity to speak to a bunch of different high schools, as well as BOCES, as well as I had an excellent opportunity to read to the 3rd and 4th graders in the Rutherford school, which is a school I attended, which was amazing to go back and be able to read them some stories. So I've been doing a lot of speaking, a lot of reading, and it's been completely enjoyable.
And you speaking about something personal that happened to you. And so you're speaking from experience, as I said before, with Sean.
Yep, that's correct. So I believe it was last month I was given the opportunity to go to the Monticello High School and speak about the dangers of drinking and driving. And that's really in tune to my life. A lot of people know, and I'm not bashful about it, I was in a pretty horrific car accident back in 2011 as a result of a drunk driver. And I was banged up pretty good. I sustained numerous injuries, very significant injuries, and it took a long time for me to recover from those injuries and get back on with my life. So I had the opportunity to go to the high school and speak to the kids and tell them that these issues don't just affect you, they affect everybody around you. So I was able to detail for them the trauma that this had on my family and my parents being in this car accident, as well as the trauma it had on my brother and how my brother spoke to me every day thereafter. And it really helped guide me along to convalesce, to heal, and to gain muscle and strength and get back to myself and really reintegrate myself back into society.
I cannot even put into words how proud I am of you boys. I can't even, just being around you when you were little, and I'm playing around, picking you up and, doing all kinds of stuff, playing in the gym. Now, is this history repeating itself?
I would like to hope so.
Because you don't even have to change the sign.
Yep. So obviously, my father's a huge mentor of mine. He's forged this path before. I'm following in his footsteps, and he's been a great guiding light for me in all my new endeavors. And it's been excellent. And I don't think it's necessarily repeating itself. It's just it's happening again in a new light.
Well, let me show you.
Yep.
Okay, so Sean, and I'm going to direct this to you because you're working with the sport. Uh, how long before you knew that your mom was the greatest soccer player in the world?
I think before I was kind of conscious of it, I kind of already knew it. All my life since every interaction I've ever had, people are coming up and saying, "Wow, your mom was Betsy Johnson," or "Do you know who your mom is?" And so every son looks at their mom and puts her on a pedestal. But yeah, my mom's pedestal was way higher after. Everyone would be coming up to me and talking about her famous soccer career. And even my dad was my mom's biggest supporter, just saying what an incredible athlete she was. And so, and she's humble. When I look back on it, I don't know how my mom stayed so humble, the amount of praise that she got on a daily basis from my dad and everybody else around.
From everybody that knew her.
Yes. Yes.
One time there was a photo in the office where we work. Because, by the way, Bessie Conaty was my boss. That's how I know boys, and that's how I hang out with them for a long time. So she had a photo of her and Michael Jordan. And the kids I used to come to the dome, we call it, or the neighborhood facility, used to look at that picture. And this is way before Photoshop and things like that. So you couldn't fake that. Say, wait a minute. So some people didn't believe it. Oh my God, Michael Jordan, because he had hair back then.
Yeah.
That picture. And yeah, she's a legend, and she was just a year off before the Olympics and soccer. She would have made it.
That's right. But yeah, 3-time national champion, first team All-American, played on the U.S. national team, and it was right before women's soccer really took off and became an Olympic sport. And there was the women's professional leagues and everything like that. So, she always told us how she wanted to be, the best soccer player in her school. And then the best soccer player in the state, and goes to North Carolina, the best on that team, the best in the country. And it was just constantly achieving goals and goals. And then, trying to get the U.S. women's soccer team into the Olympics. And then, it didn't happen. They said, okay, well, in 4 years, it's definitely going to happen. And it was just another 4 years of training. And then, she met my father, and then, decided to hang up the cleats and have a family. And we're all super proud of my mom.
Wow. So, and the other thing is also that she let you be you, both of you. She didn't push you into anything unless you wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you were training, it was because you guys decided that you wanted to do that. It wasn't something that they pushed you into it. They guided you, but they didn't push you. And I think that that's a fantastic thing, because there's a lot of parents that don't have the ability, or your parents, like your father being a lawyer and a judge, and your mother being a super athlete. They don't have that capability, but they still try to push their kid.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, these are people that are qualified that could have pushed you, but they didn't. And so I think that it's important to guide rather than to push. So I think that they did a great job with you guys.
You brought it up earlier. I look back on it. I wore a suit and a briefcase every single day to elementary school for 2 years. And looking back on it, I can't believe my parents allowed me out the house like that. I can't believe I didn't get beat up in school in Monticello. They let me be me. That's what I wanted to do. And they always let me and Brian, be ourselves.
I don't know if I had that picture with me. This is Brian playing at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And sliding down. I remember making a slide for you to slide down.
Yep. Always in a Batman shirt.
Yeah. And this is Sean practicing his balance, of course, that's me when I had hair. It's another angle. And you guys just hanging around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have more pictures. I think I had the photo of you. Not it. This photo of you with the 3-piece suit
Yeah,
And
yeah,
a hat, I believe.
absolutely. Had the little Irish hat on at all times
Mhm.
too.
Right. Right. Does anybody now? I've been told. Actually, I think me and your mom discussed this, and I didn't notice until later that Brian looked a little bit like who they tell you you look like, Brian?
They said I look like my father and that Sean looked like my mother.
Mm-hmm. And what star did they tell you that you look like?
At what age?
When there's a star that Ben
Oh.
Affleck and what's the other guy's name?
Matt Damon.
Yes,
Hmm.
they said that you resemble Matt Damon, and you and Sean they said that you resemble Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I had the red beard and the fade and slick back hair. And actually, I was Conor McGregor for Halloween for like 4 years in a row. So, and he actually liked one of my Instagram posts when I was him.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Anybody confuse you?
When when I was anywhere I go, people always make they used to make jokes about that. So
I had to congratulate you on baby.
thank you. That's the next big thing. Any day now, going to become a father. So we're super excited.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And I'm actually going to be speaking about father next Saturday. I have this whole thing that I'm going to be speaking in Liberty. A different take, a different angle, but I'm going to be doing that. But it's a wonderful institution.
No, we're super excited. And like you said, I mean, we've got the best parents, and my dad, I got big shoes to step into, and then you being a father figure to me as well. Like, I feel like even though I don't have any physical experience being a dad, I feel like I had great role models my whole life, and
awesome.
And so, yeah, we're very excited.
So, Brian, when are you planning to be a father?
I'm gonna give it some time for right now. I've got some other things I need to accomplish first, and then I'll turn my sights to that.
Yeah, I'm just being funny because I get mail. I'm sure my wife told you, but I get mail. They want to know who you are, and I don't know how they know that you and I were that close. From the email, they said,
Yep.
"Hey, I want to know who is she single?"
Yeah, I think Crystal told me that when I last saw her at the Monticello Middle School. She mentioned that to me.
We were voting. By the way,
Yep.
voting is coming up. Make sure you go and vote. Let me see if I have some questions for the viewers.
Yep.
Daryl Brackley is a coach. He used to coach a while ago with me. And this night I say, wow, I think she's talking about the video. She didn't even get to see the whole thing. Hello, Daryl, hello. So you have been watched from 3 different places, It's YouTube and Facebook, my page, your page. And I hope that, so tell me something that difficulty that you had. You already mentioned your knee surgery.
For sure. I mean, my whole life, like you said, was dedicated to sports or preparing for sports. It started off with basketball, and then just with my, genetics, because of my mother, like I, really excelled at soccer. And so all the extra preparation, the lifting with you and all the time I put in was geared toward playing college soccer. And like every kid, they think they're going to go play pro. But for me, 14 years old as a freshman, I was on junior varsity in 8th grade. I made the varsity team as a 9th grader. And then I ended up partially tearing my ACL and having to have meniscus surgery as a 14-year-old. And then so I had to sit out basketball season to rehab my knee. And that's when I really, kind of went all in on the weight room. I couldn't play basketball for that season. So I really got into lifting and trying to transform my body. Because it's crazy to think about, but I was 95 pounds walking into Monticello High School in 9th grade. Like I was a really small, underdeveloped kid. I was a real late bloomer. But I come back from that surgery, played sophomore year, tore my ACL again, had to sit out, another basketball season. So I had my second surgery at 15. And then at that point, they told me I had to wait for my third surgery for my growth plates to close, which they said probably wouldn't close for another 2 years. So that meant no playing soccer or basketball my junior year, probably no soccer or basketball my senior year. And so just doing the math, well, if you don't play high school sports, you're not going to get recruited to go play college. And so, everything that I had been working for, since I was, little with you, I realized, okay, I got to have a different route now. I'm not going to be, going to college to be an athlete. So again, I went all in on lifting weights, resistance training, and just, preparing my body. So I was fortunate enough to go to college then, and right away got a certified personal trainer certification. I started working at the rec center, just training general population people, getting reps, actually coaching. Then I interned in the Division I weight room at East Carolina, working with Division I athletes and teams. And then I got a grant to work in the biomechanics laboratory doing research. So I kind of saw this fitness industry from all different sides, from like the private personal training side to the collegiate strength conditioning side to the actual research side and the technology side in the biomechanics lab. But ultimately, for me, again, you were such a big impact on me, and I wanted to make that type of impact on other people. So that's where I geared toward, being a college strength coach. I wanted to still be with collegiate teams. I wanted to help them transform their bodies, make them durable so that they didn't get any injuries. And I just ultimately wanted to, the way the NCAA rules are, as a strength coach, I spend more time with the athletes than a lot of the coaches do. And so that leaves a huge opportunity for me to make a positive impact and a deep relationship with all the athletes that I get to work with. So ultimately, that's what my career, I knew where I wanted to go with it. Took me all over the country. It's a very hard profession to crack into. I've been fortunate where I've, I don't know, seven states, 8 states. I don't even know how many states I've lived in now, but from New York, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Michigan, Oregon, Missouri. So I went, all up and down the East Coast, all the way out west, working my way back in the Midwest now, but all different type of levels. But yeah, it was a sacrifice. And, I would say, like, to the young people listening, I knew where I wanted to go with my career. I knew what the end goal looked like. And then I just kind of reverse engineered it and looked at the people that came before me and kind of saw what steps they took, and then made sure I got a jump start on that to put me in the position I am now.
Mm-hmm. And you, Brian, when you became, when you in the hospital, I know that we were all praying for you. How did you come out of it mentally?
Mentally, it was tough. I was beat up pretty good. I had a fractured leg, and my back was fractured in 2 spots. My neck was fractured. My arm was broken, and I was definitely beat up. I had to go to a rehab hospital to relearn how to bathe myself, how to walk, how to read. I really had to start fresh again. So mentally, I had to start over again, and I was thankful to have the support network that I did. Mainly, I had my family with me. So my mother was there every day. My father was there every day. Sean was there every day. I remember you even came to visit me a few different times, and we had some good conversations. But I really took it one day at a time. And a phrase that actually my brother bestowed on me and gave to me was to be better every day. And all he wanted to do, he told me, he just wants me to be 1% better every single day. If I can do that, then in 100 days, I'll be back to normal. So I really took that phrase and I ran with it. And I went to the rehabs and I started doing physical therapy, and I started reading again. And I had my family there that I could speak to about all the issues I was going through. And I took it one day at a time. And eventually I was able to get back to full strength. I went back to West Virginia, and I hit the studies. I hit the gym again so I can build myself up. I build my muscles back. I build my flexibility back, my movement back. I got my mind in order, and I was able to, read the books and read the textbooks and do the studies. And I took it one day at a time. And I just said, by the end of the day, if I can just be a little bit better every day, then, I'll come out of this all right. And I took that to heart and I ran with it. And I was able to come back. And thankfully, I'm in the position I am now. I'm fully healed. My body is back to normal, and my mind is right. Thankful to the support network that I had.
That is awesome. That is great advice, Sean. One day at a time, I tell people that don't work out. I said, do you have 5 minutes? If you have 5 minutes, you could start. You could start out. Start moving. So because people want to do everything, we have we're living in a microwave world. 2 minutes. Okay, but that's not the process. Look, if somebody had a baby, and that baby came out and started running, that would scare the crap out of you. There's a process that you got to go through, and step by step. So that advice, I am going to write that one down.
It's habits, it's consistency. I mean, that's everything that I deal with in my world. But for Brian, with the amount of surgeries he had on deck, with the amount, like there was just a whole laundry list of things he had to go through to get better. And when you step back and look at it, all of it, it's overwhelming, and you don't know how you're going to get there. But that's what I was trying to tell him, is just focus on one day at a time. And if every single day you're making strides to get better, that's the solution. That's the answer. That's how you don't get overwhelmed. And that's how you actually, we got up out of it.
Oh my good. I didn't know how this was going to go, because I know you too. And, sometimes when you're talking to somebody, you kind of know the answer. Mm-hmm. But I wanted you, what I wanted from you guys, you already gave, and that is that determination that both of you have. And from here on, whatever is in the future, I know that you guys are going to conquer it, with flying color. I always said 110%. Mm-hmm. People say, oh, that doesn't exist. I think that it does, because once you reach a certain level, you're always moving to the next level. Mm-hmm. So that's the other 10%. So, absolutely. But people they set something low, and everybody could reach something low, But I saw in the training, and that's one of the things that we used to have at the office, when you jump and slap mm-hmm. that thing.
Yep.
Right? So nobody, at first, you don't reach that.
Absolutely.
But every time you train, you go more and more. So what's 100%?
That everyone's ceiling, but and you're exactly, it's all physiology in my world, and it relates to life, is the consistency of training expands your capacity. So mm-hmm. 110% just means maybe, everyone can only get to 100 theoretically, but with consistency and with effort, you expand your capacity. And so now there is 110%. Now that 110% is only 100% for you, and we're constantly raising your ceiling. So that's, it's physiology, but that's life. That's
right. If people ask me, why is my email is take it past the limit? Because people didn't understand that for a while. So because you got to find out what the limit is, and then you got to go above that. Mm-hmm. There's no limitation except the one that we put on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, my brothers, my sons, this question is anything that you want to say. I know that, and you already said for the young kids, anything that you want to say to them, for the kids that are coming up, any quote or inspiration.
Well, for me, it's to find your passion and chase it. Because once I found out what I wanted to do, and I found out what really moved me and what I really cared about, the work didn't seem like work anymore. It was my passion. It was what I wanted to do. And that's really driven me and propelled me to the place I am now, where I continue to find my passion each and every day. And I'm still in the office now at past 8 o'clock, and I'm happy to be here. I like what I do. So find your passion and chase it.
Awesome.
And similar to that, everything we've been saying. I mean, the first thing that always stood out to me, my dad always told Brian and I when we were young, he said, as you grow up, every morning when you look in the mirror to shave, and you can see Brian and I don't do a whole lot of daily shaving, but the premise is still the same. Every morning when you look in the mirror, you got to be happy with the man that you're looking at. And so I always think about that with, all grown up as a kid, your daily choices, and you need to be content and happy with yourself and the choices that you made every single morning. But yeah, a quote similar to what Brian just said and similar to what we just talked about is a very simple quote, simple math equation that, God told to me a long time ago. And that is the math equation is today plus today plus today equals your life. Make today count. And so that just goes to show is, again, don't step back and look at the big picture of your life, how overwhelming it is of who you want to become, where you want to go, what you want to do. If you just focus on today and make today count, maximize each day. And like Brian said, get better every single day. Once you start stacking days together, all of a sudden you're going to look back and say, man, I really did create a beautiful life.
The audience agrees. Okay, guys. Well, nice to have you on. Unfortunately, my wife couldn't be here today because she's rehearsing. She's a big movie star. I'm surprised that she talks to me. But yeah, she's rehearsing for this play that she has a part on, and I'm glad and sure that she's sad that she missed it. But for the people watching out there, you could watch it anytime on YouTube. Click and subscribe. I think your parents are watching from there because they don't have Facebook. So, and it will be there and no edit because you guys were so good.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good.
So I will see you.
Pete, if I could just close out, Pete, I just want to mention how much of an inspiration you've been really to myself as well to Sean and my entire family. And you really are like a father figure to us. You've raised us since we were younger. All of your teachings, all of your trainings from gymnastics to MMA and everything you've done has been absolutely phenomenal and really far reaching in our lives. And I think it's fair for you to know that I'm in the district attorney's office now, and I keep your book in our office.
Oh my
so
God.
I always have your teachings here with my law books, that your book is always here in this office in case I need guidance and I really need to reflect. And that's what's excellent about your book. So your influence is far reaching even to today. And it's been in my office now for the past year or so. So, thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you. I didn't know how to wear today. I didn't know if I should wear a three-piece suit or just the tradition. But it's tradition, because of your parents and, your mom said, when I sent her the promo, she said, oh my God, you're trying to make me cry?
Absolutely.
And now with your words, and, I have the article here where Sean mentioned me on that article, and your mom told me that you have my book in your office, and I really appreciate that because sometimes you do work. To me, hanging with you guys wasn't work; it was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm sure that we're going to do this again. And good luck with your baby, and good luck with your with the race, Brian. You know that I'm going to vote for you, and I don't do politics. I'm definitely going to be there voting for you. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete. Wouldn't be here without you. We really appreciate you, and yeah, we'll have to do it again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for doing the show.
Absolutely.
Of course. Thank you, Pete.
Well, there you have it. What interesting boys they are. Men, I should say, men. Next week, we're going to have Darina Wilson. She's a gymnast that turned bodybuilder, and she also has a compelling story. And my wife should be here next week, I hope, unless she's rehearsing. She's filming this week and doing a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, thank you, and thank you for watching. Let me see. D, thank you. And oh. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Thank you, Darryl. Okay, so make sure you tune in next week when we had Rena Wilson, which is a bodybuilder, and she very rapidly went to the top when she started competing. And she was a gymnast and dancer and gymnastic coach, and she's going to be with us next week. Rena Wilson. Look her up before we actually do that show. So I will see you, and with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and harmony. Bye.